Hi, I'm Dave Hansen, Director of Engineering and Product Development at Chevrolet. On behalf of everyone here at Chevy, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for choosing Corvette. By doing so, you've joined a group of driving enthusiasts who have a passion for their cars like none other. From its debut in 1953, Corvette has been recognized as a design and a technology leader, and now the legend lives on as Corvette continues to win the hearts of not only Americans, but driving enthusiasts around the world. The people who designed and built your Corvette, along with the entire Chevrolet organization, are committed to your complete satisfaction as a Corvette owner. By reading your owner's manual and watching this video, you'll learn more about the thrill of driving your new Corvette and how to maintain its performance and its appearance. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And again, thanks for choosing Corvette.
In this video, we'll explore the many facets of the Corvette ownership experience. First, in performance review, four-time Indy 500 champ Rick Mears and Corvette Engineering Continuous Improvement Manager John Heinrichsey offer an up-close look at the performance, design, and capabilities of your Corvette. Next, members of the Corvette engineering team review the major technical highlights for 1995. It's followed by feature operation, which provides step-by-step instructions on the use of key features and controls, and Corvette Care, which offers valuable information that will help you keep your Corvette looking good for years to come. You'll also go inside the Corvette assembly plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky, to see how the latest advances in manufacturing technology, craftsmanship, and personal commitment work in harmony to produce Corvette. And finally, you'll ride along with members of the Corvette team as they evaluate pre-production models in an audit drive that's one of the many steps that demonstrate the commitment to quality behind your Corvette.
I never considered driving a car like this a job. It was something that I did for the joy and excitement of it. And I can say as a Corvette owner that Corvette has helped me capture that same kind of passion for driving that I felt during my racing years.
Racing has always played an important role in the development of Corvette because it allows us to evaluate the car under extreme driving conditions. My experience driving a Corvette in the SCCA World Challenge Series has been very valuable. What our engineering team learns on the track helps us as we strive for that perfect balance between performance and a comfortable, well-mannered car that you can enjoy driving every day. In the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at Corvette's performance characteristics and give you a behind-the-scenes look at some of the ongoing testing we conduct on Corvette.
When you talk about Corvette's performance, the best place to start is under the hood. Corvette's LT1 is the latest generation of the engine that's commonly referred to as the Chevy small block V8. It was named the LT1 when it was introduced in 1992 because it was the first Chevy small block to surpass the power of the original 1970 Corvette LT1. Today's LT1 generates 300 horsepower and 340 foot-pounds of torque. It has a cast iron block and utilizes many aluminum components, including the throttle body, intake manifold, and cylinder heads. The fuel injection system is a sequential multi-port design. But more important than how much power it puts out is how the LT1 manages its performance capability.
As the horsepower and torque curves for the LT1 indicate, the LT1 is engineered to make maximum use of its power. Peak horsepower is at 5,000 RPM and the engine red lines at about 5,700. Also notice how the torque band is wide and flat. This shows how the LT1 is tuned to deliver a consistent level of responsiveness at both the high and low end of operation. We conduct extensive testing of Corvette's engine performance every year to ensure that you're getting the most out of its capability. Under test track conditions, an LT1 coupe with a 6-speed manual transmission can run the quarter mile in under 14 seconds. and the convertible adds only about a half second to the quarter-mile time, mostly because of its aerodynamic differences. You can feel this power every time you drive the Corvette, and it's good to know it's there when you need it.
The use of aluminum components in an engine has two major benefits. First of all, it helps dissipate heat more quickly, which allows an engine to run cooler and harder. The second benefit is its weight savings. The lighter the vehicle and the more powerful the engine, the faster it will run. This factor is expressed by a car's horsepower to weight ratio. For Corvette Coupe, the horsepower to weight ratio is approximately 1 horsepower for every 11 pounds. And for convertible, it's about 1 to every 11.2 pounds. But there's a lot more to performance than just horsepower and straight line acceleration.
Your brakes are extremely important. They must be consistent under all driving conditions. That's why Corvette's four-wheel disc brake system features standard dual-piston front calipers for sure stopping power. The vented design of the wheels helps maximize brake cooling. The cooler you can keep the brakes, the less chance you have of fading.
Corvette's anti-lock brake system also contributes to the car's overall performance and your ability to maintain control under hard braking conditions. I'm approaching a wet surface that's used in testing to simulate ice. There's a barricade in my lane. I applied the brakes fully, and the ABS prevented the wheels from locking and allowed me to steer the car.
Corvette's acceleration slip regulation system works in conjunction with ABS to help maximize the driver's ability. Using brake intervention, throttle relaxation, and spark retard, the system allows Corvette to make the best use of available traction. In this test, it's clear that the car with the ASR on is much better able to accelerate on the split coefficient.
Corvette's handling also plays a big role in helping you control the car. The suspension system is like an orchestra. There are many different pieces that must work in harmony, and even the tiniest details are always being fine-tuned to improve the overall handling and ride quality.
When we introduced the 1984 Corvette, it had phenomenal handling. In fact, in some testing, we were able to pull 1 full G on the skid pad. Unfortunately, this handling was at the expense of ride quality, and we took some criticism from the automotive press for the car's stiff ride. Ever since then, we've been refining Corvette's suspension system to deliver a more comfortable ride without degrading its handling ability, and our work has clearly paid off with today's Corvette. Up front, Corvette's four-wheel independent suspension utilizes a double wishbone design, which is also used on many types of race cars. The wishbone suspension has a low unsprung weight, which is the combined weight of the tire, wheel, and suspension components. This helps each wheel maintain excellent contact with the road. Like the A-arms you see here, many of Corvette's suspension components are made of lightweight aluminum alloy. The independent rear suspension utilizes 5 link connections to help ensure a smooth ride and precise handling. Corvette's suspension also incorporates front and rear stabilizer bars that help minimize body sway during cornering. It also utilizes transverse-mounted leaf springs and gas pressurized shock absorbers. In addition, on almost all Corvettes, the wheels and tires in back are larger than those in front. This is a perfect example of how we've fine-tuned Corvette's suspension over the years. The larger tires in back maximize traction, while the front tires help contribute to better steering and handling. The tires are Goodyear Eagle GSC radials. They have an asymmetrical tread pattern that puts more rubber toward the outside of the car. This aids traction while cornering as the weight of the car shifts to the outside. The asymmetrical tread pattern, which was first designed exclusively for Corvette, enhances both wet and dry performance and helps minimize road noise.
Finally, to help meet different driving needs, selective ride control is available on all Corvettes. From a rotary switch on the center console, the driver can select either touring, sport, or performance settings. Each one gives the car a progressively stiffer ride. And within each setting, there are 6 shock valving positions that adjust automatically depending on the vehicle's speed. You can see the regulator module for selective ride control on top of the shock absorber. Selective ride control creates a best of all worlds suspension for everything from commuting to the office to recreational driving. And it's on the road where all of the suspension components we talked about come to life. Corvette engineers use telemetric readouts to conduct endurance testing on the car's suspension setup and components. Here they're evaluating the impact of driving conditions, including accelerating, turning, and braking instantaneously as it happens. At Team Penske, we use the same kind of system on our Indy cars during practice and the race. Knowing exactly how the car is performing on the racetrack is a tremendous advantage. And at our level of competition, you need every edge you can get.
One of the key attributes of a performance car like Corvette is its balance. A 50-50 front to rear weight distribution is a good benchmark to measure against. Corvette coupe models have a 51 to 49% front to rear ratio, and convertibles are right on the 50-50 mark. But as the car moves, the weight shifts around, from front to back when you accelerate, back to front when you brake, and side to side when you corner. The lower the center of gravity, the less the weight will shift, and the better balance the car will have. Corvette's center of gravity is just 15 inches off the ground.
For comparison, an Indy car's center of gravity is about 12 inches off the ground. So far, we've talked a lot about Corvette's performance features, but one of the most important performance attributes of Corvette is how the cockpit is designed to help maximize the driver's ability to operate the car.
Corvette's cockpit surrounds the driver. The instruments are logically placed and easy to read, and all controls are within a short reach, allowing you to concentrate on the road ahead. The steering wheel is easy to grip and comfortable to hold, and the seats keep you in position with excellent side, back, and thigh support. Normally, the seat belt is free moving for your comfort. It only locks when necessary.
But when you want to maintain a firm seating position all of the time, there's a cinch button on each retractor to lock the lap belt in place. There are many different aspects of the Corvette performance story, from its engine and suspension system to the layout of the cockpit.
We're very proud of this car, and we hope your appreciation for its performance, design, and capability grows each time you drive the Corvette.
Corvette has long been recognized as one of the world's premier performance cars and as one of the automotive industry's design and technology pioneers. Its history is rich with a tradition of continuous improvement and refinement. And in 1995, the ongoing evolution of Corvette continues.
We are very proud of the place that the 95 model is in the history of the car because of the power that can be seen in the continuous improvement activities that have been going on in the model year leading up and including model year 95. So I think people who evaluate the 95 model and compare it to its predecessor are likely to be surprised for the amount of progress that we've made in making the car more enjoyable to both own and to drive. I can recall one example where the continuous improvement activity was really made dramatic in a demonstration that John Heinrichs put on for the staff of our management team here, in which a car down at Bowling Green had a 3x5 card pasted on it for each of the items that had been improved in the 94 and 95 model year. It was almost difficult to recognize the car because there were, I think, something like 280 cards pasted on that car representing the little things that had been done to make it better.
Perhaps nothing showcases the ongoing evolution of Corvette better than the refinements and fine-tuning of its suspension system. Each year, engineers get closer and closer to that perfect balance between ride and handling. For 1995, LT1 coupes and convertibles received key refinements to their standard suspensions.
Typically, the development engineers, when you're working on chassis development, you've got a constant back and forth between ride and handling. Typically, it's very difficult to improve both at the same time. We feel in 1995 we've done just that with the addition of the Decarbone shock absorbers, which is a high-pressure monotube shock absorber, which we've seen has given excellent performance for both ride and handling in providing a very progressive feel, at the same time doing an excellent job of soaking up the bumps and making the car feel very stable and very well under control. We feel a combination of the improved shock absorber along with the lower spring rates really provides the customer with an excellent balance between ride and handling. The ride is a very supple, well-controlled ride, and the handling, I believe, is the type of handling that the Corvette customer has come to expect from a Corvette over the last few years.
Tires are an important part of Corvette's suspension system and work in conjunction with shocks, springs, and stabilizer bars to give Corvette its outstanding handling capability. Corvette has always been an industry leader in tire design and technology. From the original unidirectional gator backs in 1984
The asymmetrical tread pattern of the Eagle GSCs introduced in 1992, and then the Goodyear Eagle GSC Extended Mobility Tires, EMTs, with run-flat capability that are again available for 1995.
The intent of the EMT was to design a tire that would be transparent to the user when inflated. It feels just like a normal Eagle GSC. The advantages only come into play when it loses air. But we don't want your Corvette to behave any differently on the EMT inflated than it does on a conventional GSC.
The extended mobility tire is designed much like a conventional Eagle GSC, but it also utilizes specially compounded inserts that are built into the sidewall. These inserts are strong enough to support the weight of the vehicle in the event of air loss at speeds up to 55 miles per hour for as far as 200 miles.
The first benefit of the EMT is the security of knowing that if you damage a tire to the point of air loss, you don't necessarily have to stop. You have a period of 200 miles in which to decide where you're going to stop and when you're going to stop. Another obvious benefit is the normal car carries a jack and one spare tire. And in a multiple flat occurrence, you're stranded. With the EMTs, you can continue when 1, 2, or 4 tires are flat.
The available extended mobility tires are teamed with Corvette's low tire pressure warning system. The system utilizes tire pressure sensors at each wheel that are continually sending a low-frequency radio signal to a receiver. When the receiver detects a loss of tire pressure, the low, flat tire light will illuminate on the driver information center.
This is absolutely essential with an EMT because you cannot tell your tire has lost air without a system to tell you that. The tire does not feel enough different to let you know exactly when the deflation took place.
In 1992, an acceleration slip regulation traction control system was introduced on Corvette, and for 1995, there have been several notable refinements to the system to enhance its overall performance.
The design objective of ASR was to make the Corvette an all-seasons vehicle. Along with the Goodyear GSC tires and the ASR, I think we've accomplished that pretty good in the Corvette.
In this split coefficient drag demo, one side of each car is on ice and the other on dry pavement. ASR is turned off on one Corvette while it's active on the other. The comparison between the two cars clearly shows how ASR maximizes the available traction and clearly outmatches the driver who's relying solely on his own skill to keep the car moving straight ahead.
The driver will notice these benefits the most primarily when he's unaware of the coefficient conditions that are existing on the road, such as sand at an intersection, passing during freezing conditions where the road might be icy and he's unaware of it. It's an indicator that you should slow down, that you're being too aggressive for the existing conditions.
The brain of Corvette's ASR system is a control module located underneath the floor behind the driver's seat. It also controls the anti-lock brake system and features several enhancements for 1995 on LT1 coupe and convertible models.
This is our ABS ASR5 hybrid unit. The ECU is bolted to the hydraulic unit. This eliminates a jumper harness mass, and it also eliminates several connectors. This makes a more reliable unit.
The new module is also smaller and weighs less than the previous design. This helps improve its packaging inside the car and takes 7 pounds out of the vehicle. But what's most important is how ASR performs. If the system senses excessive wheel slip, it maximizes the available traction by controlling engine torque and/or brake intervention. Torque is controlled both by retarding spark to the engine and a throttle relaxer. When the throttle relaxer engages, the driver feels feedback through the accelerator pedal. Brake intervention helps stop the wheels from spinning by gently applying and releasing brake line pressure. Brake intervention does not activate at speeds above 50 miles per hour. A light on the driver information center signals any time the system is active.
Different slip thresholds are used depending on if the vehicle is cornering, acceleration rate, and the speed of the vehicle.
These slip thresholds have also been modified for 1995 to help provide more of a performance feel in high coefficient turns. while still maintaining the system's outstanding performance on low coefficient surfaces like ice or loose gravel. There's also a button that allows drivers to turn ASR off.
We also have a change to the switch for the ASR. The switch now is instant off, where it used to require that the wheels be stable before the driver could turn it off. We now have instant off and instant on. If you see that you may be getting stuck, then you want to hit the button. You could go to instant off, get a lot of wheel spin, dig down through the ice, and be able to accelerate forward without the car slowing down and getting bogged down and getting stuck.
Along with these changes to ASR, there have also been refinements to Corvette's ABS system in 1995 for better deceleration uniformity on dry surfaces and improved steering feel on split coefficient. You're most likely to encounter this when half of the vehicle is on ice or wet pavement and the other half on dry pavement. The Corvette team's commitment to continuous improvement can be seen throughout the vehicle and is especially true with the interior, even in some of the smallest details.
The Corvette is a luxury sports car, and because of that, we have to pay particular attention to the interior of the vehicle. And in doing so, we pay close attention to the, specifically for my work, to the carpet fit, to the noise levels that we allow to come to the interior of the vehicle, and to make sure that everything is ergonomically comfortable for the customers.
Part of the ongoing scrutiny the Corvette interior receives is on how well its appearance stands up to different climate extremes.
The Corvette is tested year-round in a multitude of environmental climates and altitudes. We do testing at our proving grounds in Mesa, our Milford proving grounds, and also some cold weather testing in Kapuskasey to find out how the vehicle performs, what happens as the vehicle ages, so that we won't have any issues, because we know that Corvettes are collector vehicles and we want them to look good today and 10 years from now.
Finally, some of the most notable refinements to Corvette for 1995 are items you won't notice at all.
In the last year, the interior team has really spent a lot of effort trying to get the squeaks and rattles out of the vehicle and to improve the fit and finish on the inside of the vehicle. So there are a lot of improvements that have been made in the vehicle that aren't readily apparent to the customer.
Thanks to rigorous ongoing testing and evaluation of vehicles and interior components, the 1995 Corvette delivers one of the quietest, most pleasing rides yet.
We continuously test the interior of the Corvette by taking it out on the squeak and rattle track out at the Corvette Bowling Green plant and running cars through for looking at different little things that we might hear or see in the interior of the car.
This kind of attention to detail is the hallmark of Corvette's evolution from 1953 until today. Feature after feature is tested, tuned, and refined, and then re-evaluated again. Because as long as there is a Corvette, there will always be an engineering team dedicated to the principle of continuous, ongoing improvement. This program overviews the operation of key features on your Corvette and explains things you might notice that are a part of the car's normal operation. Your knowledge and understanding of Corvette will greatly enhance your ownership enjoyment. First, let's review Corvette's passive keyless entry, commonly referred to as PKE. It automatically unlocks the car and disarms the security system as you approach the vehicle. The system's range is approximately 5 feet. As you leave the vehicle, it automatically locks the doors and turns on the alarm. The horn also chirps to let you know that the car is locked and secure. In order to operate, the PKE system must first be programmed. In most cases, this will have been done at the dealership, and if your passive keyless entry is already operating, there's no need to program it at this time. If PKE is not operating, you must first learn if it's programmed but simply turned off. Here's how. Make sure the key is out of the ignition and the radio is off. Then press and hold the door button on the key fob for more than 2 seconds. If the system is programmed, the doors will lock and then unlock to tell you that it is now turned on. If nothing happens, you will need to program the system. Programming creates a unique computerized security code between the transmitter key fob and your car's PKE receiver. More than 1 million possible security code combinations exist, so there's very little chance of two cars having identical codes. There are 7 easy steps in programming PKE. First, move all transmitters to be programmed out of range of the vehicle. The approximate ranges for coupe and convertible models are shown in this diagram. Second, put the key in the ignition and turn it to the on position, but do not start the car. Third, push the trip auto button twice. And fourth, within 5 seconds, push and hold the fuel info button until the passive keyless entry light illuminates on the Driver Information Center, or DIC. The fifth step is to turn the ignition off, but do not remove the key. You'll see the passive keyless entry light start flashing once per second. Step number 6 is to bring the first transmitter into range. Once the receiver recognizes it, the passive keyless entry light will illuminate solid. Please remember to only bring one transmitter into range at a time. Finally, take the transmitter out of range. The DIC light will then start flashing 2 times per second. If a second or third transmitter needs to be programmed, simply repeat steps 6 and 7. Once all transmitters are programmed, remove the key from the ignition. If you ever add an additional transmitter, you will need to reprogram your vehicle with all transmitters at the same time. You can also reprogram if you want to ensure programming security so no other transmitters will work. Once the system is programmed, you can easily turn it on and off and switch between modes. Turn it on and off as follows. First, bring the transmitter into range and make sure the key is out of the ignition. Second, press and hold the door button on the transmitter for more than 2 seconds. The doors will then lock and unlock. If the system was on, it's now off, and if it was off, it's now on. It's recommended to turn the system off if you take the keys and leave someone waiting in the car so they don't set off the alarm if they open the door, or if you'll be working in or around the car and moving in and out of the system's range. When the PKE is on, you can choose between 2 modes of operation. The first mode unlocks the driver's door as you approach the car, while the second mode unlocks both doors. Either locks both doors as you walk away from the car. To select the operating mode that's most convenient for you, follow these 2 steps. First, bring the transmitter into range and place the key in the ignition, but do not turn it on. Second, press and hold the door button on the transmitter fob for more than 2 seconds. When the system recognizes the transmitter, both doors will lock, and then either the driver's door or both doors will unlock. This tells you which mode the system is now in. For example, if only the driver's door unlocks, the system is on driver's door only mode. To activate the both doors mode, simply repeat this procedure by holding the door button for more than 2 seconds again. On coupe models, the key fob also serves as a remote for the passenger's door if your PKE system is in the driver's door only mode or if it is turned off. Simply press the door button to unlock the passenger side. It also has a button to operate the rear hatch. On Corvette convertible, the fob only has a door button for the passenger side. Finally, if the key is fully in the ignition, PKE prevents you from locking your keys in the car. Next, let's review Corvette's instrument cluster and controls. To the right of the digital speedometer, you'll see analog gauges that provide quick reference readouts for oil pressure, oil temperature, coolant temperature, and voltage. When you want exact digital readouts, use the Gauges button on the trip monitor to cycle through readings for oil temperature, coolant temperature, volts, and transmission fluid temperature. The trip monitor can provide you with an array of valuable readouts. Please refer to your owner's manual for a complete overview of trip monitor functions. You'll also notice that at the top of the trip monitor, there's a small electronic eye, which adjusts instrument panel readouts for the best visibility. All Corvettes are also equipped with a standard engine oil life monitor. It measures engine temperature and revolutions to calculate the approximate life expectancy of your motor oil. The change oil light will illuminate next to the tachometer to signal the need for an oil change. When the oil is changed, reset the oil life monitor as follows. Turn the ignition to the on position, but do not start the car. Then press the English metric button on the trip monitor. Within 5 seconds, press the English metric button a second time. Within 5 seconds of that, press the gauges button and hold it in. The change oil light will begin flashing. Keep the gauges button pressed until the change oil light stops flashing and goes out. This takes about 10 seconds. The oil life monitor is now reset. Please remember, however, this feature only serves as a reminder of the need for service. Always change your oil as recommended in the owner's manual, even if the change oil light has not yet come on. And you must reset the oil life monitor each time you change the oil. Please also remember that your car's engine is factory filled with synthetic motor oil, and it is recommended for all oil changes. Located next to the trip monitor is the Driver Information Center. Your owner's manual has complete descriptions of what all the DIC lights mean and what you should do if they signal a need for service to one of the systems. There will be times when you'll notice the ABS active light come on. For example, if you're on a washboard road or changing lanes in the snow, the light may appear because the computer senses speed differences between the wheels. When all 4 wheels are again rotating at the same speed, the light will go out. Corvette's acceleration slip regulation traction control system is automatically turned on each time you start the car. You'll know the times when ASR is functioning by the feedback you feel in the accelerator pedal and the ASR active light on the DIC. ASR might also activate briefly if you drive over a railroad crossing or other bumpy surface. When ASR activates, cruise control is automatically disengaged and must be manually reset. The on-off switch for ASR is located on the left-hand side of the instrument panel, just above the light control. When you turn it off, the ASR off light illuminates on the DIC. And if the system needs to be checked, the service ASR light will illuminate. Features that all Corvette sound systems share on their cassette players, as well as the CD player on the Gold Series system, include a search button that advances to the next selection, a repeat button that automatically replays the previous selection, and a scan function that plays the first 8 seconds of each selection. When the tape or CD reaches the piece you want to hear, simply push the scan button again. The search and scan buttons work for the cassette and CD players only. To search for the next radio station, simply press the auto button and then either the up or down arrow on the tune button. The radio will automatically stop at the next station. Setting the clock is a simple procedure. First, push the set button. The indicator light will glow for 5 seconds. Then use the tune down arrow to set the hour and the tune up arrow to set the minutes. Corvette convenience features include an express down driver's window that's operated by pressing the power window switch in the down direction and then releasing it. And a delayed accessory bus that allows you to operate the sound system and windows for several minutes after the car has been turned off or until a door is opened. There's also a turn signal reminder chime if the indicator has been left on for more than 1 mile of driving. Finally, Corvette's parking brake, which is located to the left of the driver's seat, operates as follows. To engage the parking brake, depress the brake pedal and pull up on the parking brake lever. Then lower the lever to its original position. To release the parking brake, depress the brake pedal and pull up on the parking brake lever until you can push in the release button. Then, holding the release button in, lower the lever. Corvette is an exciting car to own and drive. Your ability to operate its features to their fullest potential can greatly increase your enjoyment of your Corvette. A Corvette kept in good condition is destined to become a collector's item. That's one reason why many Corvette owners impeccably maintain their cars. A more common reason, though, is that Corvette owners simply have a lot of fun keeping their cars looking good and running well. There are many things you can do to your new Corvette that will preserve its great looks over time. When washing your Corvette, use only mild liquid hand soap or specially formulated car washes. Do not wash your Corvette in direct sunlight, and avoid using dishwashing soap or stronger cleansers, which can be abrasive to the car's base coat clear coat paint finish. Begin by wetting down the car to remove any excess dirt and debris. Then wash the car in sections with a soft, non-abrasive cotton cloth. Rinse the car off thoroughly soon after applying the soapy wash water. And then dry it with a clean, soft chamois. If you own a convertible, be sure to clean the top often. Use a mild soap in lukewarm water. Harsh cleansers could damage or discolor the fabric. Clean one area of the roof surface at a time with a soft bristled brush, supporting that section underneath with your other hand. Then rinse the roof thoroughly, removing all soap from the fabric. Be sure to let it dry completely before lowering it. A damp top can wrinkle, and trapped water can cause stains or mildew. Also remember not to adhere any objects, such as temporary license tabs or stickers, to the glass backlight, because they might damage the defogger grid when removed. And if you use an automatic car wash, be sure to turn off your radio to lower the antenna. Corvette's aluminum wheels have been treated with a protective coating that resists mars and scratches. Clean the wheels with mild soap and a soft bristled brush. Do not use strong cleansers, stiff bristled brushes, or any type of chrome polish. If you choose to use a rubber protectant on your tires, first make sure the tires are dry, and then apply the protectant to a sponge or cloth first, and wipe the tires, avoiding contact with the wheels. In order to allow ample time for the new paint surface to fully cure, do not wax your Corvette for the first 60 days. When you do wax, use only non-abrasive products that are approved for base coat clear coat paint finishes. By masking off the porous surfaces of the door handles, you can ensure that they remain free of any excess wax, which can be difficult to remove. Apply the wax with light circular motions. Forcing the wax into the finish will often dull it or leave swirl marks. If you plan to use a power buffer, only oscillating types are recommended. Once you've finished waxing your Corvette, use a detailing brush to remove any excess polish around emblems, trim, seams, and parking lamps. The seats, door panels, center console, and top of the instrument panel can be easily cleaned with mild soap and warm water. Parking your Corvette coupe on a level surface makes the removal and replacement of the roof panel quick and easy. A ratchet is housed in the center console to remove bolts, which are located behind the front sun visors and along the back of the roof panel. When stowing the panel, keep it top up and make sure it fits securely into the brackets on each side of the rear stowage compartment. Then push forward and carefully lower the front edge into the safety latch. In order to prevent damage to the weather strip, always close the rear hatch glass from directly above the striker assembly, located in the center along the edge of the glass. Now you're ready for Corvette Coupe's unique open-air ride and feel. When taking the top down on convertible models, first lower the windows. Then loosen the Velcro strips at the rear of each side window opening and release the two front latches. Next, pull the release handle that's on the underside of the parcel shelf behind the driver's seat. Then lift up on the back of the roof and push the lid release button next to the handle. Then open the lid. There's also a lid release button in the center console. The top folds down easily. Remember to return the front latches to their closed positions once the top is lowered. And the compartment cover is fully integrated into the car's body. The clamshell hood sheathes the heart of Corvette, an engine that's one in a long line of legendary power plants. Corvette's engine compartment has all fluid level checkpoints, clearly labeled for easy identification. By checking your fluid levels regularly, you can ensure that your Corvette is always in top running condition. If you clean engine components, do so with only a wet cloth. Do not use alkaline-based cleansers. They can discolor aluminum. When closing the hood, simply line up the upper and lower portions of the strut and release the hood from a height of about 20 inches above the cowl. Then check to make sure it latched securely. You should also check the tire pressure of your Corvette's Goodyear Eagle GSC tires often. Because of the tire's low-profile design, it can be difficult to detect underinflation just by looking at them. Check the pressure of all 4 tires if the available low tire pressure warning system illuminates the low tire pressure light on the Driver Information Center display. Because of the GSC's asymmetrical tread pattern, plus the fact that the rear wheels and tires are wider than those on the front of most Corvette models, the tires cannot be rotated. Should you need to change a tire unexpectedly, the jack is located in the storage compartment behind the passenger seat. And there's a socket designed specifically to remove the wheel lug nuts, along with a lug nut key. Remember to provide both to the technician who services your vehicle. The lug wrench is secured to the floor behind the driver's seat. Corvette's jacking points are shown in this diagram. Because Corvette is a high-performance machine, you're encouraged to have routine maintenance and service performed by your Chevrolet dealer. Chevrolet technicians undergo special training that enables them to expertly service your Corvette. Chevrolet Corvette. Throughout automotive history, the name has been synonymous with performance and sophistication that add up to the highest level of driving enthusiasm anywhere. By properly caring for your new Corvette, you're helping preserve the legend of the true American sports car.
More than 3,500 components from the top suppliers worldwide converge in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where dedicated employees ply their trades. In a building that covers 1 million square feet and contains more than 7 miles of conveyors. These are the elements that work together to produce the Corvette, the world's premier sports car. The pride of Chevrolet comes together on the line at the Corvette assembly plant in Bowling Green, the only plant in the world charged with producing America's dream car.
If you think about the Corvette as the ultimate expression of automotive art, you'll watch the employees, each and every one takes a great deal of pride in the work that they do. They inspect their own work as well as the work of other people. They do that as part of the process to ensure that each and every Corvette that leaves this plant is as perfect as it can possibly be.
The building of Corvette is a deliberate, almost painstaking process. Each vehicle takes more than 5 days to build, and quality is foremost at every point along the assembly line. That quality begins with Corvette's rigid uniframe construction. 53 robotic welders produce its strong skeleton, applying more than 1,200 spot welds in a matter of minutes. Another 120 inches of precision welds are carefully done by hand. The uniframe acts as a steel cage, which provides structural integrity and contributes greatly to the vehicle's overall safety. The result is one of the world's most structurally sound sports cars. Belying the strength of the steel uniframe is another of Corvette's trademarks, its sleek fiberglass body. Before the fiberglass panels are installed, they're wiped with a special solvent that unmasks any hidden defects on the surface. The panels are then attached to the uniframe with adhesives applied by hand. The actual bonding is done by machine to ensure precise adhesion. 10 major panels are joined to the uniframe, including rocker panels, the deck lid and halo, and the hood. Many of Corvette's body panels are lightweight fiberglass, allowing the coupe to maintain its trim curb weight of approximately 3,300 pounds. To ensure that the body panel assembly meets rigid design specifications, point check inspections are conducted regularly throughout the day. During these inspections, technicians use highly specialized instruments, checking body panels to guarantee that fit and alignment are exact on 3 different planes. Once the body is assembled and inspected for quality, the painting process begins. First, the body is prepared to provide a smooth surface. Painting is done with a combination of robotic and hand spraying, and each vehicle receives 6 coats of finish, 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of enamel base coat or color coat, and 2 coats of clear coat. The entire process takes approximately 14 hours per vehicle and culminates in a detailed inspection of every car. While its lustrous and durable body is assembled, the core of Corvette performance is simultaneously coming together. The car's chassis, drivetrain, and suspension are assembled at various points along the line. The independent rear suspension features a 5-link design, a glass epoxy monoleaf spring, limited slip differential, and many aluminum components. Like the rear suspension, the front suspension is also independent, utilizes many lightweight aluminum components and a monoleaf spring. It also features a tubular steel stabilizer bar. Once the front and rear sub-assemblies are complete, they're each joined to the engine and then the drive shaft. Coupes and convertibles are powered by a 300 horsepower LT1 engine, built specifically for Chevrolet by GM Powertrain in Flint, Michigan. At the heart of the ZR1 beats a truly dominant engine, the LT5, designed by General Motors in conjunction with Lotus and built by Mercury Marine in Stillwater, Oklahoma. The LT5 launches ZR1 down the road with an incredible 405 horsepower. With that kind of power, it's no wonder Corvette's interior resembles the cockpit of a fighter jet. Corvette's slick body and sturdy chassis are then married, quite literally in fact, to form a nearly complete vehicle. At the marriage area, the body slowly drops down from above to be mated with the chassis. The two are joined at 14 separate contact points to assure a perfect match. Wheels and tires are also married, so to speak, at another location within the plant. Corvette's Goodyear GSC asymmetrical tires are teamed with directional 17-inch aluminum wheels and then perfectly mounted and balanced. First, there's the uniformity machine, which simulates the tire on the road, checking for tire integrity to avoid future and unwanted vibrations. The Bowling Green plant is unique in that it checks 100% of its tires for uniformity. Next is the dynamic balance, which determines exactly how much weight should be added to the inner and outer flanges of the wheel and precisely where the weight should be placed. And finally, the static balance, where the weights are double-checked to within 1/4 ounce of accuracy. Once the wheels are ideally balanced, they're ready to be mounted on the vehicles. At the startup area, gasoline is added to the tank, the fuel pump is turned on, the system is primed, and each Corvette is fired up for the first time. Now the car is ready to roll. The end of the assembly line marks the first time Corvette's tires touch the ground. Vehicles are driven off the line and over a series of speed bumps to help settle the front and rear suspensions. All four wheels are precisely aligned, contributing to Corvette's responsive handling. Then, because Corvette owners demand perfection, the vehicles undergo an extensive battery of quality checks and performance tests. There's the sonic test that checks critical seals to see if sound escapes from the passenger compartment. The water test, which douses the car from several angles to check for possible leaks. And the dynamometer, to ensure engines are functioning correctly and to measure their emission levels. All this is done to provide Corvette buyers with an ownership experience unmatched by lesser vehicles.
Corvette Action Center, Jerry.
Part of that experience includes customer assistance at the factory. Enter the Corvette Action Center.
Models, there's a feature that allows you to operate your power windows or your radio for up to 15 minutes after the
Located in the plant, the Action Center answers approximately 150 product-related questions per day. Of course, your local Chevrolet dealer should always be your first source of expertise. However, if your dealer is unable to answer your question, you can reach the Corvette Action Center at area code 502-745-8101 or 1-800-457-VETT. Structural integrity, remarkable power, ultra-high quality, seductively attractive. The world's most distinguished sports car, built for the world's most discerning buyers. Ongoing testing and evaluation are hallmarks of the commitment to quality behind Corvette. Throughout the year, cars are continually being scrutinized by engineers, plant personnel, and other members of the Corvette team to help ensure customer satisfaction and enthusiasm.
How many guys haven't been on one of these drive audits before? Okay. We won't go through a lot of stuff today because I expected most of you would be familiar with what we're doing here. The pattern we're following is pretty much identical to what we've done for about the last 2 years.
You want to read this and do the lighting checks?
In this week-long activity that takes place early in the year before the first production vehicle is built, engineering groups are taking 10 pilot vehicles that come off the Bowling Green assembly line for extensive audit drives. During the drives, each Corvette undergoes a thorough evaluation. Everything from engine performance and handling to top removal and tire changing, all to help ensure the production cars are right when they begin rolling off the line for customers.
Pilot is a pre-production vehicle. You're proving out the process, you're proving out the parts to make sure that they're all correct.
The 250-mile trip leaves the plant at 7 a.m. and begins crisscrossing the Kentucky countryside.
Try to encompass as many driving situations as we can. We start off on the expressway. We go through several little towns, so we get in some traffic. We deteriorate in road quality as the day goes along and end up in fairly secondary types of roads. There's some of the route is relatively flat, and then there's some hills and curves and a lot of variation in the type of road.
At pre-planned stops along the route, team members have the opportunity to perform their assigned tasks, discuss items they've noticed while driving, and compare notes. Many times, the audit drive is the first time new systems and components can be evaluated on cars that were assembled under regular plant production conditions. This gives engineers a preview of what will really happen when regular production begins.
Well, we spent the last year working real hard on fits and finishes, and this is a final buy-off to make sure that we have all our fits and finishes in line and that it'll meet customer expectations.
But it's not just the new components that receive careful examination.
We're going to do a steering evaluation, lock to lock, we'll be doing on that portion of the blacktop. And what we do is we're going to turn the wheel to lock on one side, and we're listening for steering moans, interferences, tire interferences, then we'll turn the other way. So it's like a figure eight.
The audit drives are purposely designed so Corvette team members can experience and evaluate the vehicles in real-world situations through the customer's eyes. Other tests conducted on this pre-production shakedown trip included making sure the anti-theft alarm was in working order, testing the passive keyless entry system to ensure it's working properly, and even tuning in radio stations to make sure that reception is clear. The team's pride in Corvette and commitment to customer satisfaction is clearly evident in its attention to detail and concern for quality.
When I first started in the Corvette group in '75, I was driving cars myself, by myself, all day long, and that was the audit drive.
Times have changed. The annual pre-production pilot audit drives are just one small part of the constant evaluation and testing of Corvette. Longer-term 3 and 10,000-mile durability tests, endurance runs, and cross-country trip evaluations, as well as a battery of proving ground testing, are all part of the ongoing Corvette quality story.
The difference is we're going to get a downhill and an uphill check on the parking brake.
And while it's a relentless pursuit, it doesn't mean that the team can't take time out along the way to help a motorist in distress.
How many engineers does it take to change a tire?
Then it's back to the task at hand. What's learned on this trip will be another valuable step toward ensuring the highest standards of production quality. When arriving back at the Bowling Green plant, the final stop for many of the cars is the Rumble Road.
It's a bumped road, and what they've done is they've made it like corrugated cardboard.
Okay, let's resolve those before we go into the details then.
At the end of the day, the team holds a several-hour debriefing to review all findings. Action plans are then developed to help ensure final production quality.
And the intent is to have a plan of action on every item before we go home. If we have a major problem, we'll either get a solution or we'll delay production.
We want to make sure that they're going to get a completely qualified vehicle and a quality car, something that's going to make us proud and make them proud.
And that's the bottom line. An uncompromising commitment to quality, measured in both established procedures and systems, and in the caring and dedication of people.
It was the early 50s. I lived in a little town with mostly pickups and four-door sedans. One day on Main Street, there it was, a white two-seater convertible. It was a Corvette, the first one I'd ever seen.
4 decades ago, a dream car captured America's heart and wouldn't let go. Its name, Corvette by Chevrolet. The first production Corvette rolled off a Chevrolet assembly line in Flint, Michigan on June 30th, 1953. From day one, Corvette has represented the very best of American sports car engineering, design ingenuity, and advanced technology. The 1953 Corvette offered a beautiful glimpse into the future of American design with its sleekly contoured fiberglass body and one of the industry's first wrap-around windshields. It was only the beginning. The new and soon-to-be legendary Chevrolet small block V8 made its debut in the 1955 edition. Its creators couldn't have imagined it at the time, but this superbly designed V8 would go on to power more street cars and more race cars than any other engine ever. In fact, the 300 horsepower LT1 V8 in today's Corvette is a direct descendant of that classic 55 Chevy V8. Then came 1957 with new options like a fuel-injected 283 cubic inch V8 and a 4-speed manual transmission. Corvette was practically race-ready right out of the box. 1958 brought quad headlamps, larger tail lamps, and a new driver-oriented interior. The refinements kept coming in the late 50s and early 60s. And by 1962, Corvette featured cleaner, monotone styling and a powerful new 327 V8. The all-new '63 Corvette Stingray was an American-designed triumph with its hidden headlamps, peaked fenders, and on the coupe, a dramatic fastback roofline with a split rear window. 4-wheel disc brakes became standard in '65, and a big block V8 joined the options list. The 1967 model, last of the second-generation Corvettes, was a beautiful and brutal sports machine, with an option list that included a triple-carb 427 V8 and side-mounted dual exhausts. The Mako Shark-inspired '68 Corvette represented a dramatic departure from the clean-line Stingray, with its wild Coke bottle shape and innovative T-top roof panels. Corvette celebrated its 25th birthday in 1978 with a special silver anniversary model and a date at the Indianapolis 500 as pace car. Upon its introduction, the 1984 Corvette was called the most advanced vehicle on the planet, and rightfully so. New aerodynamic styling was wrapped around an advanced chassis structure that provided a level of response never before seen in a production sports car. The convertible returned in 1986 and paced Indy. Also in '86, Corvette was the first American car with standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a feature that is now standard on even the lowest-priced Chevrolet Cavalier. That's the kind of technology rub-off that's caused one Chevy enthusiast to declare there's a little bit of Corvette lurking in every Chevrolet. And today, the 405-horsepower ZR1 and 300-horsepower LT1 Corvettes deliver uncompromised high performance that more than lives up to the legend. Through the years, there has been an unflinching commitment by scores of talented people to make each new Corvette the very best sports car the USA has to offer. Corvette is not only an American original, but to this day, the one dream car that more people fantasize about owning than any other.